Good afternoon, guys. I hope you guys can hear me. I have my AC blowing pretty hard compared to normal. Hi, I think I just said good morning. I meant good afternoon. I don't even know what I said. That's the kind of day it's been. Okay, Alyssa, thank you for the compliment. You're so sweet. All right, so I wanted to come on here. I don't have a lot of time because I'm on my way home, and as y'all know, since I've done videos on the way home, I lose service when I get close to my house. So, behaving like a boss, it all starts with you. So, I know Chloe got on here and talked earlier today about like motivation and some stuff like that. I haven't had the chance to watch it because I was at work, but I'm going to go back and watch that once I get home and I'm cooking dinner. So it all starts with you. That is something that I feel like people get lost in because you are the only one that you are in control of. When it comes to building it big or wanting to grow your business or whatever, a lot of people get really frustrated because they feel like they're doing all the things that they are supposed to do, but their business isn't growing big, or they're not growing at the pace that they want to, or something like that. So when I say that it all starts with you, I mean that you set the pace. You set the pace, you set the standard, and your team is watching you, okay? So if you are not booking parties, front-loading your calendar, recognizing your team, bringing in or sponsoring and doing trainings, your team isn't going to do it either, because statistics have shown that 20% of your team is going to do 80% of the work, meaning that every single person on your team is not going to want it the way that you do. If they did, then this business would be a whole lot easier because we wouldn't waste our time with people who aren't wanting to put in the work. So I'm going to say that again. 20% of the people are going to do 80% of the work. So whatever your team numbers look like, you can break that down to figure out what your 80-20 or whatever it is. Again, I know I'm real big on the 80-20. I promise I'm not making these numbers up. I've heard them from people. So statistically, that is very, very, very true. And I know that if you go and you look, you're going to find that. And what I mean by that is that those are going to be the people that are doing things without being told to do it. They are going to be the self-motivators. They are going to be the go-getters. They are going to be the ones that are going to stick out and shine regardless of what you do. But when I say that it all starts with you, I mean, since you are the only one that's in control of your business, you cannot put so much value on everything about your team. And once again, I've been talking to people about this program, and that's one of their biggest things is that their team isn't showing up or whatever. And you've got to just take that out of your mind and ask yourself what you are doing that they need to emulate this month. So if you have not sponsored anybody and your team isn't sponsoring anybody, well, you've got to ask yourself that. If you haven't talked about booking parties or doing a bingo night or whatever, then your team isn't going to do that. Even if you are working, but you're not sharing that with your team, they don't think you're working, right? If you're not sharing in your director's team page that you're doing Build It Big, they don't know whether or not you're doing Build It Big. And I know that sounds really silly, but same thing with recognition. If you're not recognizing your people, they think that you don't notice them. And that's not true, because most of us check the workstation daily. I mean, you should be checking daily. But if you're not recognizing those things, then they are going to believe that you're not noticing that. So you don't have to be a director to go and shout out your team members on your team page. You don't have to be a director to send an email to your downline to congratulate them on being top PRV. You don't have to be a director to do those things. And a lot of times people get that in their head, that they feel like they have to be a director to do all those things. Well, if you want to be a director, act like a director. And I'm going to tell you right now that directors grow their team 100%. Directors still grow their business by doing parties and gathering new customers 100%. Because I'm going to tell you right now, directors don't get there just by sponsoring people. Directors get there by continuing to grow their personal business too. And that's something that I've really just seen happen over and over and over again. And I feel like I just need to keep on coming and talking about it, because people will say that they don't have time to do things. And number one, I'm not going to talk to you if you say that you don't have time, because I'm not going to get into a competition over who has time and who doesn't. But if you're saying that you don't have time for it, that means that it's not a priority, period. Change your wording and say that it's not a priority right now if you're saying that you don't have time, because I am the queen of not having time, but you will never hear me say that. You will never hear me say that I don't have time to do something. You're not going to hear me say it. I may say, okay, well, I can't commit to that today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow or whatever. But I'm never going to say that I don't have time, because that means it's not a priority. And if you are saying to yourself right now that you don't have time to book parties and go out and meet new people because you're doing stuff for your team, you're wrong. And you need to stop what you're doing, and you need to do the things that are hard before you go and do a training on your team page, period. Before you go and do a coaching call, period. Like, do not tell me that you need to be coaching your people if you haven't went and connected with 5 people on Facebook, period. Stop doing it, because your business is not going to thank you and grow if you are not paying yourself first. As a leader, we always have to have our 500 in, regardless. And if you're a leader, if you have people on your team and you're not getting your 500 in, you need to be doing some training on that and figuring out how you can do that. If you're struggling getting PRV, there's plenty of places that you can go for that. Honestly, this group is not the place to be searching for PRV. But if you are a leader and you don't know where your 500 is coming from next month, you need to get it together right now, because you need to pay yourself first. You should never start the beginning of your month not knowing where your 500 is going to come from. And I'm not saying that to be ugly. I'm saying that because I've been there as a star consultant, not front loading my calendar. My team has done all the things that they needed to do, and I was digging into my team and not working my personal business. And I'm hustling on the last day of the month for 500 so that I don't leave all that money on the table. Because if you're not putting your 500 in, you are throwing money away every single month, period. You're throwing it out the window because you are not getting paid at your title. And part of getting paid at your title is paying yourself first and doing your own things first. Okay? So like I said, if somebody says that they don't have time, tell them to rephrase it as it's not a priority and move on. Something else about why people say that their business isn't growing or they're having a hard time with such and such, it's because they're doing a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter. And I'm sorry for it, but it is. You're wasting your time making cute samples and scrolling on Facebook and going and looking at gossip on other pages, or doing all the things that, or even doing a task for this Build It Big program before you go and pay yourself for your business. I want y'all to participate in this program. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you guys. But if you haven't gone and done the hard things, you need to stop doing a task for today and Build It Big, and you need to go get your life together and do something for your personal business. I don't want to hear that, oh, I got to do my Build It Big task, so I couldn't book any parties today. That's bullshit. And I'm telling you right now that I'm not coming on here to do this right now if I hadn't had done all the things that I needed to do already. And another thing that I found is that people will waste time and that's when they say they don't have time. They're wasting time doing the things that don't matter, like I said, coaching and stuff. So you have got to pay yourself first. And another thing is, people aren't talking to enough people. If you are not meeting new people on the daily, you are not doing your job when it comes to sharing this blessing. I know that not everybody wants to be a superstar director, but if you do, you have got to grow your circle, and you've got to do it daily and consistently. And I mean, yes, there are days where I do not meet people because I go to work and I come home and I'm in my house. But then you best believe that this weekend I'm going to go get out and I'm going to do the things that I have to do. I mean, and that's just what you have to do. Ashley, because it would throw you all off. Yeah, girl. I mean, you have to schedule your day based on when it's good for you. And the one thing that I can say is whatever your business hours are, and whenever you go to do the things that you need to do that day for your business, you need to do the hard things first. Doing the hard things means reaching out to people about booking parties and sponsoring. Like, those are the things that are hard because you get in your own head and you don't do them. But you'd rather come on and redo your grocery list or do a build it big task instead of doing something that you need to do. So you've got to pay yourself first. Another thing I am going to say, with it all starting with you, is this business is not hard. Well, I'm going to say this business can be hard, but this business is simple. This business is simple. It does take hard work. It does take consistency. It's not just going to fall in your lap, but it's simple. And so many times I have seen people, leaders, consultants that came out the gate doing things really well, lose themselves in trying to make things more difficult rather than just doing the simple things that make them money. And when I say do the things that are simple, I mean, don't go and train yourself on Facebook parties when you have a basket party booked and that's what you need to be focused on. Don't go and watch a video on bingo parties when you just joined. If you just joined, you need to be worried about only income producing things that are super simple. Too many times people try to do things that are just so crazy and outside of the box, and that's why they say that they can't be successful. And let me tell you something, your team is going to do what you do. So if what you're doing is not simple, how are they going to learn to do that? If what you're doing is crazy and taking so much time, they're not going to want to do that. And you want them to want your job. So like I said, it all starts with you. So tomorrow, our task, there is going to be like a task posted, but you're not going to get the files until tomorrow night. Probably. Yeah, you're probably not going to get the files. I haven't really decided yet, but you have got to make it simple. And what I am giving you are things that I'm personally made on my own time to make my business simpler. It was a freaking lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. However, now my business is running more smoothly than it ever has because I have a system in place and because I feel organized and because I'm not wasting time making lists and scattering my brain and doing all the things that I was doing in my head. Now it's out there on paper. So when you have these tasks tomorrow, I really encourage you to get on tomorrow night with me and Chloe so that we can really show you what it is that you can do that's simple, that's duplicatable, and that is going to help you make money. You're never going to see on there, go and make cute samples, go and make a bunch of flyers. You're not going to see that. Because those are just not things that matter. And like I said, it all starts with you. And you've got to teach your team to do the same things that you're doing. And if they're not simple and duplicatable, they're not going to do them. They're just not. So it all starts with you. Remember that you cannot hold value in the people that are not doing the work. If they're not going to do the work, you need to move on. Bless and release. I've said that a million times. Team members will come to me and be like, well, such and such says she wants it, but she's not doing this, this, and this. Bless and release and spend your time more wisely on finding new customers and new people to join your team that are going to want it. Because I can tell you this right now, it only takes one to completely change your business. One person to join your team that will completely change your business. And I promise you that that's true. I've had it happen to me. I know so many leaders on here have had it happen to them. It only takes one, but you're not going to find them by doing all the things that don't matter. So let it start with you. Don't let them end up joining someone else's team because you were too scared to ask them or you were making flyers. don't do it. Don't waste your time on the energy vampires. Bless and release them. Spend your energy finding people that are ready to rise. All right? I hope y'all have a good day or a good afternoon, and I can't wait to talk to y'all tomorrow night. Bye.